Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Modern Warfare video. Today we have a bunch of different topics to go over. We have some early gameplay of 2 new weapons that are going to be added in the very near future. We have a more personal discussion about Activision and how they're handling the community over the course of the past couple of days. And we also have a new Modern Warfare update to go over, which includes footstep changes and several weapons being rebalanced. Let's go ahead and kick off today's video by talking about the new weapons. It turns out that the Vector submachine gun and the crossbow ranged weapon are going to be added at some point in the near future. I actually have some early gameplay that I wish I could share with you guys, but over the course of the past couple of days, Activision has been going on a social media rampage, taking down all footage of these weapons that are being posted. Down in the video description, I'll have some Yazoo links that, as of this recording, are still up, so if you want to see some 7-second clips of these weapons, feel free to click those and check them out. If the links do end up getting taken down, don't fret, because the important news is that these weapons are currently hidden away within the PC game files, and some players who know what they're doing are actually able to boot them up in private games, which means that they are usable. The weapons are there, the animations are there, the sounds are there, therefore the Vector and the crossbow are going to be added at some point in the relatively near future. And remember that both Activision and Infinity Ward have been saying that all post-launch weapons for this game are going to be able to be earned. So my guess is either they're going to be part of an event of some kind, or they're going to be added to the game as new mission challenges, but either way, it looks like in addition to the 2 new maps that were recently added, and all the game modes that I covered in yesterday's video, it appears that new weapons are also going to be coming, which is definitely some great news for the community. Now, speaking of Activision taking down videos and clips, I want to transition to that topic next. Longtime fans of my channel here will definitely recognize the name Riley, because he's one of the guys in the community who has helped me make a ton of videos about Call of Duty's unreleased history. He and his friends are dedicated to unearthing old pre-alpha builds of Call of Duty games and showcasing how those games were developed and how they evolved over time. But unfortunately, I have some really bad news for you guys. It appears that late last night, Riley's YouTube channel, Prototype Preservation, was hit with a targeted takedown attack from Activision. Dozens and dozens of his pre-alpha showcase videos were removed from YouTube by Activision, and his channel was hit with several copyright strikes, and now the channel itself is pretty much gone. This is obviously some strange news. It's obviously a very predatory move by Activision, because pre-alpha videos have existed on YouTube for nearly a decade now, and they've never been a problem before. In fact, channels like Riley's have existed for ages for other game franchises out there, and those other game developers and those other game publishers have never had a problem with it. In fact, Activision's sister company, Blizzard Entertainment, has completely embraced that fans of their games are so invested in those games that they want to see them in early stages of development and see content that was scrapped during the creation of those games. I think it's important to note here that content like this doesn't hurt Activision or any of the Call of Duty developers. What we've been looking at here during this section of the video is pre-alpha footage of Call of Duty 4. For those of you who played that game, no doubt you've been fascinated by seeing some of the most iconic maps in the series, and you're seeing what they looked like when they were first being developed. Over time, each of these maps has evolved and changed as the developers continue to playtest and fine-tune them for online play, and what in the world is the harm in letting people see that, right? If anything, Activision should take it as a compliment that people love their games so much that they are interested in seeing scrapped areas of a game that came out over 12 years ago. I can completely understand them not wanting their new game to be shown early, right? For example, if somebody were to try to post cutscene spoilers for the Modern Warfare campaign before the game even came out, then I think Activision would be totally justified in taking down those videos. You don't want to spoil the game, you don't want to ruin the game, but we're not talking about that, right? We're talking about games that came out anywhere from 6 to 12 years ago, and we're talking about content that literally never saw the light of day. This is content that was either completely overhauled or removed entirely, and fans just want to see what that content was because they enjoy the series so much, or they enjoy that particular game so much that they're interested in it at a developmental level. What Riley and his friends were doing was a service to the community that, if anything, was helping the Call of Duty series because it was reviving interest in games that for a lot of people have been long forgotten about. I truly hope that Activision reverses their decision to shut down Riley's channel, and in the future, I hope they can learn to embrace that content like this is not in any way designed to infringe on their copyright, but rather, it's intended to propagate their games in a whole new way. If you guys want to show Riley some support, please go and follow him on Twitter. I'll put a link to it down there in the description, and hopefully we'll be able to get his videos back up on YouTube here. As somebody who doesn't have any ties to Activision whatsoever, I don't even know who the community manager is for Activision anymore, for crying out loud, but I do know a bunch of people that are Call of Duty partners. These people do get flown out by Activision, they do have contacts with Activision, so hopefully I can talk to those guys, maybe they can put me in contact with the right people, and hopefully, between Riley and I, we can get his channel back up, because he has a lot of really awesome videos, and he's got some pre-alpha builds for some really interesting games, like Black Ops 3 Zombies. How many Zombies fans would love to see pre-alpha footage of Black Ops 3 Zombies? That'd be freaking awesome. He also has some early footage of the Black Ops 4 pre-alpha. There is so much cool stuff that we haven't been able to see so far, but because Activision is trying to shut him down, that footage may never actually see the light of day, but hopefully things can get sorted out here. Hopefully you guys go over there and follow Riley on Twitter, but moving along here, let's wrap up today's video by talking about the new Modern Warfare update. It turns out that late last night, while Activision's lawyers were shutting down Riley's channel, Infinity Ward pushed through a new update that adjusted footsteps, it adjusted the map Piccadilly, and it also rebalanced a bunch of weapons within the game's multiplayer. In regards to footsteps, you are now much quieter while crouching and while walking when you're aiming down sights, which is definitely great news because it allows you to sneak up on those pesky campers a little bit easier, and I feel as though it's going to help out a bunch of individual game modes as well. In my mind are both Search and Destroy as well as Free For All. Those are modes where typically everything is a lot more quiet, right? And so therefore, if you can make yourself more quiet when Dead Silence isn't active, you can probably move around a lot more, which is definitely some pretty good news, and hopefully they'll continue to look at the idea of making Dead Silence a perk too. I talk about it almost every single video, but I would really like to see Dead Silence become a perk. I feel as though that would really speed up the Modern Warfare multiplayer. But moving along here, a bunch of weapons got rebalanced. Let's go ahead and talk about that next. All assault rifles in the game, every single one, received yet another nerf to their hipfire spread. This is no doubt in an effort to make some machine guns a bit more viable up close. The 725 shotgun received another nerf to its damage range because even though it was just recently nerfed, it was still really freaking good, like way too freaking good, so it got nerfed yet again today. The M4A1 received another nerf as well to its hipfire accuracy as well as its headshot damage. It's still the most popular gun in the game aside from the 725, and it looks like Infinity Ward is doing their best to try to tone that down just a little bit so that more weapons become more viable. The FAL assault rifle now has less recoil than it did before, and it also has faster aim down sight speed than it did before. I personally haven't used the FAL all too much. I've been using a bunch of different weapons, but just not that one so far, but I have heard it was pretty freaking weak because the recoil was so insane that it was pretty much useless even at long ranges against full auto guns like the Kilo or the M4, so hopefully after today's update, it's going to be a little bit better than it was previously. And the final weapon that was updated is the EB-14 marksman rifle, which now has faster aim down sight speed than it did before. Now, in addition to this, like I mentioned, the map Piccadilly has been changed. Infinity Ward claims they've adjusted the spawn points for Team Deathmatch and Domination while playing on Piccadilly, and they've also taken the B flag in Domination, and they moved it from the fountains over towards the buses a little bit. They've actually moved where the flag itself is. For me personally, I think Piccadilly can be a good map. I sometimes have fun on that map, but it's so spawn trappy that if you're on the A flag in Domination, you just lose pretty much. Like, it is so hard to get out there. The map is really not that well balanced in that respect. It kind of reminds me a bit of Bog from Call of Duty 4. The A spawn for Bog was horrible. If you got trapped behind those walls, you were basically going to be trapped there the entire game, and Piccadilly's a lot like that, but after today's update, Infinity Ward hopes that the map is going to play a little bit better. Another change that they made is apparently, and I say apparently because you never know with these kinds of things, apparently they have fixed the issue that was causing weapon levels and challenges to not be tracked properly. For me personally, that was one of my biggest gripes with this game. Like, it's annoying enough having to deal with bad footsteps and shotguns around every single corner, but when I'm trying to do challenges, I'm trying to level up and do my mission challenges and things like that, they weren't tracking properly, and I'm sure it was happening to a bunch of you guys as well. When I would look at my weapon camos, I wouldn't even know what challenges I had to do to complete those weapon camos. They were all just broken. It was really freaking bad, but apparently after today's update, that has been fixed. I did log in to confirm, and it looks like all my stuff is actually tracking properly. All my weapon levels are there, which is definitely pretty nice, and I would love to hear down in the comments, did this update fix that particular issue for you personally? Because it's been happening to a lot of people, and it's been doing a lot of different weird things based on each individual player. So leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Did this update actually fix your challenges and your weapon levels? I would love to hear about that. But ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much does it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for listening. And once again, please go follow Riley on Twitter. He does a lot of great things for the community, and it's a real shame what Activision has been doing to him. Hopefully that can all get sorted out here in the next couple of days. And as always, I will keep you guys posted with more information on that, as well as Modern Warfare, as new information becomes available. But for right now, that's all I have for you guys here today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.